If you were the golden child in a family system like this, there's a side of it that people rarely talk about because on the surface it looks like you were the one who had it easier. You were the good one, the responsible one, the one who got praised, trusted, or held up as an example. But what's not obvious is that this role comes with a hidden condition. You are safe in the system as long as you stay who they need you to be. So you learn very early that love really isn't about who you are, it's about how well you perform the role. And that shapes you in ways that you don't notice at first. So I want to break this down today. These are some of the most common ways that the golden child shows up as an adult. 1. You become highly focused on being good and avoiding mistakes. You don't just try to do things well, you try to do them in a way that won't create any reaction, any disappointment, or any conflict. So you become very careful. You're very responsible. You're very controlled. For example, at work or in relationships, you might find yourself overthinking simple decisions like, is this the right thing to say? Will this upset someone? Am I doing this correctly enough? And it's not really about the task, it's about staying in good standing because growing up, being good kept you safe emotionally. 2. You struggle with authenticity because you're used to performing a version of yourself. You get really good at reading expectations, what people want from you, what gets approval, what keeps things calm. So you start adjusting yourself without realizing it. In conversations, you might notice you say things that sound right instead of saying what you actually feel, or you hold back your opinions because you're unconsciously scanning, will this make me acceptable? And over time, you lose track of what you actually think or want because you've spent so long being what works best for the environment. 3. You feel responsible for maintaining harmony. Even as an adult, you might find yourself stepping into the role of the emotional stabilizer in relationships. If something feels off, you quickly try to fix it. If there's tension, you feel like it's your job to smooth it over. For example, if someone seems distant or quiet, you might immediately go into, did I do something? How do I fix this? Let me make this better. And this can create a pattern where you are constantly managing emotional environments that were never fully yours to manage. Because as a child, keeping things stable often came with approval. 4. You struggle deeply when you're not doing well or being praised. This one is really important because your sense of safety may have been tied to being good or capable or impressive. So when you make mistakes, you're not performing well, or someone is disappointed in you, it doesn't feel like feedback. It can feel like disconnection, like your value is being questioned. So you might overcorrect, overwork, or push yourself harder just to get back into good standing, even when you're exhausted. 5. You can experience a sudden shift later in life where you become less protected by the family system. And this is where it gets confusing. Because as you grow and develop your own identity, your own opinions, your own boundaries, you may notice people reacting differently to you. There's less approval, there's more criticism, more resistance, and you start thinking, what changed? But what changed is not your worth, it's your role. You stopped being predictable in the way that the system expected. Now, if any of this is hitting something familiar for you, I want you to slow down for a second because these aren't personality traits. These are adaptations. They're the ways that you learn to stay emotionally safe in an environment where approval felt conditional. And that conditioning doesn't just disappear in adulthood. It shows up in how you relate to people, how you handle conflict, and how you feel safe being yourself. And that's exactly why I created my free guide, because most people don't need more insight. They need help noticing the patterns in real time. This guide helps you to catch those moments where you're about to overadapt, people please or lose yourself in trying to stay good. And it shows you how to pause before you go on autopilot. It's linked in the description. And if your experience also includes freezing in conversations, going blank when there's conflict, or struggling to find the words in the moment, that's called the freeze response, and I've been there too. So that's why I created the freeze response recovery kit, and it gives you simple scripts that you can use in those exact moments so you're not stuck or replaying everything afterwards. That's also linked below. I want to end with this. Being the golden child wasn't about you being loved freely. It was about you being valued for a role. And once you step out of that role, you finally get the chance to discover who you are outside of it. If this resonated with you, you're not alone. If you want more content like this, you can subscribe because I go deeper into these patterns and how they show up in your real day-to-day life and relationships. And I want to ask you something. Which parts of this felt the most familiar for you? Or what did this make you realize about yourself? I read the comments and they help me to know what I should dive deeper into next. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care.